Hey guys, welcome back to Daisy King Farm, and today my dad is going to be showing you how to make kombucha.
Alright, so I guess some people asked how we make kombuchas. I'm using the continuous brew. So this is a little over 2 gallon container, and I got the stainless steel spout on it. That's what you want. So if you order one of these, it comes with the cheap plastic. And they say you want to change that to a stainless steel spout. This is our setup. You always want to keep it covered, keep dust and stuff out of it. And this is really not going to be a how-to. It's just going to be a how we do it. There's a lot of information out there. We use Kombucha Camp is where we got all our stuff from. These people here, Kombucha Camp. And I tried using regular tea before, and it wasn't turning out good at all. So I switched to the tea that they have, and it's been a lot better. So I don't use just regular sweet tea anymore. I use their stuff. And they send you these little bags to steep your tea in. So yeah, you want to make sure you keep it covered. Stainless steel spout and 2 gallons. So I only draw off about 1 gallon, and then I make another gallon and add to it. So all this brewed tea mixes with the new tea that I put in there, and in about 4 to 5 days it's ready. Pretty quick way to do it without taking it out and messing with it all the time. You just keep adding 1 gallon at a time, and when you get down to about 1 gallon, you just make another gallon and pour it in there. We drink quite a bit, so we've got 2 of them going at a time. This one's almost down, so I'd say in a day or 2 we'll make another one. They say the ideal temperature is about 79 degrees to brew the tea at. So we've got a towel, but under the towel we've got a little heating element strip, and it keeps both jars at about 75, 78 degrees all the time. So we just plug it in and leave it, and then put a towel on top of it and set our jars on top of it. Some people wrap it around there, and I guess you could do that if you just had one. We did that when we just had one, but this is my 3rd split. We gave another to a friend, and so I've split the mother again and started our own. So this is the first one. So this one's brewing a little bit slower than our original, but it's the 3rd time we split it. So it pretty much just takes care of itself as long as you keep the temperature right. You know, there's a second flavoring, which I'm still working on that, or a second brew they call it, and I'm still kind of working on that. I haven't perfected it yet, where you carbonate it and flavor it. We draw it off in this is the way I do it. I draw it off in a quart jar, and I like these just regular old cannon jar lids, because if it starts to carbonate, you can push on it and you can feel how much pressure is in there, and seeing if it's over pressurizing or whatever. If there's not much pressure, it'll be real easy to push, and if there's a lot of pressure, you know, you can feel it, so you don't bust a jar on your second fermentation. They say it's supposed to take 5 to 6 days. So you just, if I was to take some out here and want to flavor it, I would just draw off a quart, put whatever I want to in there to flavor it, and close it up and set it over here on the counter for 4 or 5 days, and you can test it, and whenever it's good to drink. You know, it's good to drink immediately. As soon as these take 4 to 5 days, and as soon as I just taste it, I use a little shot glass and taste it every once in a while. And when it gets to where I like it, it's got a little bite to it. So I like it, you know, kind of stout. And I just start drinking it until it gets down to here, and then we make another pot. So that's where we're at tonight. We're going to go ahead and make another gallon of tea to put in our jar here. So this is how I do it. We're going to go ahead and add 1 quart off of this gallon. We use just regular old spring water, just because they say not to use tap water with the chlorine and stuff. And I don't want to boil it for 10 minutes to get the chlorine out. So we just get a gallon of spring water. And I pour a quart into here. About a quart, it doesn't have to be real accurate. And pour it in the pan. We'll bring that to a boil, and we'll steep the tea for, I don't know, about 5 to 7 minutes or so. So we'll go ahead, while that's boiling, we'll go ahead and get the tea ready. Like I said, you know, these people have been making kombucha for a long time, and you can get your own, you can do the kombucha with whatever tea you want. They say no teas with oil, so there's some teas that have oils. You don't want to use that because it'll kill the bacteria in there, the culture. So I found it just simple. They know what they're mixing to make it good. So I just get the Kombucha Camp tea. So that's what we're going to use. And it is better than regular tea, sweet tea or whatever. So they say 1 to 2 tablespoons of the tea. I usually put 2 in. There's 2. So we'll wait for the water to come to a boil, and then we'll steep the tea. Okay. Our tea is boiling now, so we're going to steep it for about 5-7 minutes. I don't know, I just go by the color, how dark the tea is, kind of where I've been doing it. You don't have to make it strong at all, I don't think. Just however you want to do it. So we'll let that steep for about 5 minutes. Okay, so it's been brewing about 5 minutes now, and that's really the color I like to see. So now we take 1 cup of sugar. They say the ratio for sugar to a gallon of tea is 1 cup. So it seems like a lot, but when it gets done after 4 or 5 days, it's really not sweet at all. So the bacteria and all that culture eats the sugar. So we'll put 1 cup of sugar in. I've already measured this out. And stir it. And go ahead and it's all gone, we'll stir it up. When you're making this, you can't put the hot tea into your jar here, because if it's above, I think 100 degrees, it starts killing off the culture. So what I do is take a funnel and pour this quart that we have in here back into the cool water of the gallon jug, and by the time this gets in there, it immediately cools it off. Go ahead and do that. You want to put that quart back into the gallon, and you can feel it. It's cool. Didn't even really warm it up all the way. Take our coffee filter off. It's just a coffee filter rubber band, and we'll pour it in there. And we'll put the coffee filter back on. Now, a lot of people are all worried about it, that they don't want mold. I find that as long as you keep the temperature right in here and this culture stays strong with the right tea, the right amount of sugar in it, I have not had any trouble with mold growing on it or anything. It's pretty strong culture, at least the ones we got. You know, I've heard people getting dehydrated ones or small ones, you got to grow bigger and bigger before you get it into a big pot like this. I didn't want to mess with all that, so we just went and got one to make. I think they gave us 2 cultures to make 2 gallons at a time in one container. And that's how we started. It's pretty simple. There's really nothing to it. If I'm not shooting a video or anything, it only takes me 10, 15 minutes to do it. Everybody in the house drinks it, drinks some. It's pretty healthy for you, and I feel good drinking it. There's a lot of benefits that come along with it, but it's pretty good. It's biblical. Drinking fermented drinks. But that's pretty much it. That's how we do it.